Hello guys, I'm back. And today I wanted to talk. Remember I told you guys in my intro that this channel for the most part would be like recaps and kind of reviews on TV series, popular TV series, or like current TV series. But I also mentioned that this would be almost like a virtual journal, and also not just a virtual journal, but just me sharing something that may be on my heart that I just feel like I want to share, and also just a conversational piece. And so sorry, people are texting me. And so today I wanted to talk about the importance in inner peace and new beginnings. And understanding just with new beginnings, the importance, when I say importance, I mean just understanding that it's never too late to start over. You can start over as many times as you want. And you know, it's just nothing wrong with it. But you know, our society, and the reason why, before I go more into my opinion, today I went to lunch with a friend of mine downtown, and you know, we had lunch, a couple drinks, and well, I had one drink. She likes to get lit, and plus it's like Rolling Loud weekend here. Even though the weekend is over, people are still here turning up, having a good time. So the place that we were at, you know, it was lit, DJ, and just people were just, it was a great vibes where we were. And so anyways, we were having drinks and eating, and we were outside. So it was a place where, you know, you could actually have a conversation. And, you know, I've only been friends with this girl since I moved here. And so I've been in Miami for about 2.5 years, almost 3 years now. And so we haven't been friends long, but you know, she's someone who I consider to be a young woman. She's my age. I am 25. I'll be 26 in December. She's 25 as well. And she doesn't have any children. I don't have any children. All that whole thing. We relate in a lot of different ways. We're similar. And so she's just someone who I can, like, I don't want to say, and I feel like I can indulge a little bit more. So most of my friends I can do that with. But just like you have associates and you have certain people that you can't really have deep dive conversations with, because it may step on their toes and you don't want to be offensive. You know, if that's your friend, you don't want to offend people. And so you have to be careful sometimes. You know, certain conversations can go left if the person is offended or anything like that. So anyways, with this particular friend of mine, we kind of agree on the same things morally. And so we had a conversation, and she told me today that she is just afraid to start over. I don't want to go too much into her business. Y'all don't know who she is, but I don't want to indulge in that. But pretty much she was saying she's afraid to start over, and just start over in a lot of ways in her life. And so we just had a conversation about that. We had a conversation about inner peace and just like, you know, being mindful of the people that you keep around you. And I just felt from her that it was very, like, she felt like, can't get my words together today. Excuse me, I cannot get my words together. She just felt very like ashamed. And yeah, that's the proper, I think would be the proper term. Just really ashamed, and didn't feel like you know, I don't want to say that she wasn't worthy, but in a sense, it can be that you feel like you're not worthy, to want better for yourself, and just to start over, starting from scratch. Along with her feeling ashamed, she was telling me that she feels like, you know, she doesn't want to have to go through the part of the healing process, because, you know, when you're healing and you're going on a spiritual journey, or you're just coming into terms with who you are and loving who you are, it can be lonely. It can feel like, you know, you're by yourself and you're alone, and you feel like the world is happening. Things are happening in this world without you, and time is just passing you by. So, you know, I told her that I've never experienced some of the things that she was telling me that is going on in her life in particular, but I know a lot about new beginnings. I know a lot about starting over. And I would say I know a lot about the changes in the, just the pulling back of the layers of self-hate that we can sometimes have, and insecurities, and just, you know, just all of those different things that we can see when we look in the mirror, right? And about ourselves. And so, you know, I just told her, like, I feel like society can sometimes make us feel like we can't start over. And, you know, because we see so much going on around us, and we just feel like we just can't do this. Like, we, you know, honestly, you know, if I'm being real, it is hard. It's not easy, but it has to be something that you really want to do, and that you're really ready to do. And sometimes, like, one of the theories I have on life, just with my own experience, everybody is different. So I always take people like as they are. So I may feel like my best way of learning is to just jump out, right, and do it. And even with my move here to Miami, it was like a heat of the moment decision. I did have, you know, I had things in order. I had things lined up here as far as like work and stuff like that. And I actually moved here. It was regarding work. That was the reason why I moved here. The first reason why. But even with me moving here, it was like a leap of faith, literally. And it was not easy coming here and being by myself at first. And, you know, I learned and mastered over this 2.5 year. I'm really not counting last year. I'm really not counting last year because we were in a pandemic, and most of the year I was with my family back in Philadelphia. So I don't really count that, but still at the same time, you know, I was back and forth. And so it's just, anyways, I'm getting on a tangent right now. But it was a leap of faith, and it was not easy being here alone. And this to me was a new beginning. And there were other things that I was going through besides moving emotionally. And so I was dealing with those things, plus being away from my family, plus, you know, with the new change of things in my life, like work and stuff like that, trying to balance that, and then still trying to figure out who I am, and just soul searching, period. And so it was just, you know, it wasn't easy, but I encourage it. I've never felt as at peace as I feel now. Never in my entire life. I feel like just myself. And I would encourage anyone who's in a situation where they feel like, you know, whatever it may be, they feel like they're ashamed, that people may judge them if they walk away from the situation that they're in, whatever that may be. or they feel like they're going to be lonely. I'm here to tell you, yes, you are going to feel lonely at first. That's the reality of it, especially when you're healing. You know, self-love and just that process of healing from whatever it may be, a previous relationship, childhood trauma, like it's not easy, and it is something that you have to do by yourself. You have other people that may be around if you're going to therapy, or if you just have, you know, certain people who encourage you in your life, or like certain influences in your life, loved ones in your life that are just there to give you words of encouragement, to love on you and nurture you. You know, you have those things, but at the end of the day, it boils down to you. You know, me, myself, and I, pretty much, like Beyonce said. It just boils down to that. And that is the hard truth. That's one of the hard truths of this world. You know, it's not going to be easy, and you are going to feel alone at times. But from my own experience, I can't speak for anybody else. And I don't know how your journey would be, or how my friend's journey is going to be if she decides to step out on that leap of faith. But, and take that leap of faith, like, you know, I don't know. But I know from my experience of just traveling down that tunnel and not knowing what's on the other side, you know, it is an interesting journey. It is a lonely journey. It can be sad at times. You can feel like you just want to just give up. And then you may have moments where you're happy. You may have moments where you're finding joy in just being in a space where you can just be yourself, and just noticing and realizing things about who you are. And so I just wanted to come in and share that. I just feel like people, like our society, like I said, just makes it hard for us to be ourselves and just, I don't know, just be who we want to be. And not just be who we want to be. I don't want to say it in that sense, because that can be taken different, maybe in a way I don't want it to be taken. So let me not say that. But just pretty much like the new beginnings thing is really difficult for people. Starting from scratch is difficult, period, right? Starting over is difficult. But I feel like society makes it worse, because we're living now in a society where a lot of things is microwaved based. It's a lot of fast money happening. There's a lot of instant gratification happening. And, you know, we just feel if you don't have a sense of self, it can make you feel like you're inadequate. It can make you feel like, you know, you are lesser than, or you're not worthy enough. And so those things can be the reason why people don't want to start over, or why they don't want to, understanding that starting over is pretty much pushing yourself, working on yourself, building yourself, becoming a better you. That's what starting over should be. Every single time you should be like, you know what? Okay, this time I'm going to do it this way. And this time, you know what? I'm not going to look at it like that. This time, you know, when I go into this, I'm going to have this type of mindset. You know, so that's what it should be, starting over. And when you're trying to, anything that takes time, that, you know, you got to put in the oven, you know, you have to marinate or season and get together, and just, then you put it in the oven, you let it slow bake. Like anything that's done like that is going to be some bumps. It's going to be some hiccups. It's going to be some things that, you know, make you feel like you can't do it. And then, like I said, you have this world around you, you have people around you that, not people necessarily, but just, you can be focused on things that hold no importance to your self-worth. And that can be a lot of different things. And so it's just, I don't know, I just feel like I was telling her, like, you know, you don't have to feel ashamed. You don't have to feel like, oh my gosh, what are people going to think about me? You know, what are they going to say? You know, or if you had, because she was telling me, like, other people were telling her, not to do this particular thing or these particular things in her life, and she pretty much gave her behind to them to kiss, so to speak. And so she's reaping what they told her she would reap from these decisions that she made. And she feels like I have nowhere to go. And that is a bad place to be in. That's a bad mental space. Like, that's not, you don't want to be there. Because you're blocking your blessings like that. Like, you're just blocking so many natural and just the natural order of things. When you just halt your growth, you're stopping the natural order, in my opinion. So I told her, of course I gave her like friendly words. I love you and I'm here for you, those things. And I just told her, like, I always like to give people the raw, uncut truth. I don't like to be sugarcoating stuff, like, and I don't really like to talk on things that I don't know really much about. Like, I kind of will get quiet. And one thing about me, I like to talk. Anybody that knows me knows I like to talk. So when I'm quiet, that usually means I don't know anything about what you guys are talking about or what the person is talking about. So I'm here to listen and gain knowledge so that maybe I can have something to say and maybe on the next conversation, because I don't know, I've never experienced it personally. I don't have any information on that. So I'm usually quiet. But yeah, like I was telling her, I'm like, I haven't been in your shoes in these particular situations, but I know, like I said, I know about starting over, and I know about the healing process. I know about low self-esteem. I know about loving what you see when you look in the mirror, loving what you feel when you close your eyes at night. That's it. Loving what it is that you feel on the inside, that inner peace, that inner being, like, going to bed with a clear conscience, just every day waking up and doing right by people, not just your loved ones, but strangers too. Like I said, I've never been, like I told her, I said, I've never experienced this type of peace before in my entire life. And, it's weird because I just lost someone dear to me. This lady could have pushed me out of her vagina herself. She's my grandmother. I just lost her, and she raised me. And, she raised a lot of people around me, actually. People that are much older than me. She raised them, took them in. And she was just a mother, just a mother and just a superhuman being. She had her flaws, she had her things about her, but she was just so superhuman to me. And so even with me dealing with the passing of my grandmother, like, I cannot say my spirit is not disturbed. Yes, I'm still grieving. Yes, I have moments in the middle of the night where I get up and I'm crying, or I'm having dreams about her, anything like that, and I have to go pray, and I may even go into like a space of like praise and worship where I'm like crying out, but I still cannot think of a time in my life. Now, I'm very young, I'm only 25. I can't think of a time in my life where I've been this at peace ever. And one thing I just want to point out that I pointed out to her and she was laughing. I am single. I've never been married. I don't have any children. I'm working on things that I want to accomplish, brands and business things and, different things that I want to accomplish. And so I'm focused on that, but I'm also making sure that those things, like making sure that I'm working on the intangibles, right? Because that's what's going to keep me in the game. That's what's going to keep me in a race at the end of the day. That's what keeps us going. And if we don't work on those things, and if we don't continue to nurture those intangibles, everything can come crashing down. because you have to be right here and you have to be right here in order for things to be successful, and then for them to be not just successful, but on a financial basis, but just for things to be wholesome, for it to be authentic. You got to be right. You got to be in the right frame of mind. You just have to do that hard work, period. So, and continue day to day, every day, doing the hard work. And so, yeah, I just told her, and I wanted to share this with you guys, like, it's never too late to start over. It's never too late to start from scratch. It don't matter if you're by yourself and your back is up against the wall and you just feel like, a horrible human being. We are all human beings and we all fall short, and we're, none of us are perfect. We all going to stumble. We all going to make mistakes, right? It's never too late to start over. It's never too late to make a decision to be somebody else that you wasn't yesterday. It's nothing wrong with it. As long as you're working towards a better you, there's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with saying, you know what, I accepted that yesterday, I'm not accepting that today. That's it. And yeah, that's what I wanted to share with you guys. And I will be back later.